Welcome to this week's edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Marikas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. And, Coach, the Tigers taking on Drexel on Saturday at Johnny Unitas Stadium. You were the only two CAA teams without a conference loss. And after Saturday, you are now the only team without a conference loss as you defeat the Dragons by a score of 14-10. And a little different script this week than the previous 2 weeks where against Villanova and Stony Brook, you guys fell behind early. This week, you came right out and jumped on Drexel 6-1.
Yeah, it was a focus of ours kind of through the week and especially on game day to start strong, start fast, try to obviously get out of the gates a little bit more. Not necessarily energy. I feel like we always have great energy, but, just executing at a higher level. Villanova, we came out, I think we had, the first 2 goals, and then they stormed back and then took the lead. But, I still feel like, we needed to be able to set the tone early. Our guys did a good job of that. Made some really good lacrosse plays, not overly scripted. Did a good job maintaining possessions. And conference play is always a battle, so you never really want to play from behind.
I guess your guys, I'm sure they realized that Saturday could have been the key game of the year because you're the 2 favorites, and whoever wins is going to have a hand up in hosting the conference tournament, even though there's a long way to go.
Correct. And again, I don't think our guys are, not immune to that. I'm pretty sure they understand that. We didn't talk about that at all, but it's something that, again, when we step on the field, we expect to play at our best. We know we're in conference play, and every game is very important. So, our guys, I think, kind of took it all in stride and then stepped on the field ready to go.
Mikey Weishar, 6 goals. He is now just the 3rd Tiger in history to accumulate 200 points, along with Bob Grebe and Glenn Smith. He's second all-time in goals. Just a monster performance on Saturday.
Yeah, really strong game. And you could tell he kind of had a little bit more to him. He felt like he wanted to, I don't want to say press, but, be more assertive. A couple times, probably not to the best of the offense, but he definitely was feeling more assertive in that game, and obviously being able to produce the way he did for us was important, and Alex as well. Both those guys having big games, and excited for those guys.
Yeah, he only had 5 goals on 6 shots,
yeah,
so he's now shooting 56% on the year. And as of this taping, the NCAA stats hadn't come out. He's probably going to be in the top 3 in the country in shooting percentage.
Yeah, the good thing about Rooster when he's shooting, he's usually within a few yards of the crease, but that's still not an easy thing. He's getting bumped, he's getting banged around. He took on, it felt like, 3 or 4, maybe the whole Drexel defense at one point coming out of a ground ball and finished it behind his back. So again, he's a scrappy player. He's diversified his game, being able to, he's a Canadian, so typically you think Canadians are very one-handed, which he still is, but he's worked to improve his offhand and become very dynamic with that as well. So he's a guy that has worked very hard to be able to have the success that he's been experiencing.
Your defense also seems to be improving week by week, and this week I thought they played really well.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple guys that have been okay to maybe a little bit, lower than what we expect out of them. They really had strong games on Saturday, and we've kind of been having that. We've been having a couple guys play really well, a couple guys be consistent, a couple guys kind of below the mark. We need to continue to have everybody, at the mark or above, in regards to how we're playing. So I do feel like the chemistry's building, but we still need to produce better in regards to chemistry.
All right, this week the Tigers at home again, taking on Monmouth. The Hawks come in. They are 5-4. They're 2-1 in the conference. They've won their last 2 games against Hofstra and Hampton. And Ty Caffarelli, he's got 30 goals and 6 assists. What makes him so dynamic?
He's fantastic. We've loved him since he was, first set foot on Monmouth. He's always a guy that you got to worry about a ton of. He's just a really smart IQ guy. He works primarily off the ball, although he can dodge and he can hurt you. But he's super efficient. We just talked about Alex, and how efficient he is. Ty's right up there with him in regards to shooting efficiency, and he's got both hands, but he's just a very cerebral player. He puts himself in great spots. He frees up his teammates by the attention that he draws as well. But he's a guy that when the ball's in his stick, it's dangerous.
And then their face-off guy Parker, 61% face-off or 67% face-off so far this year. Mm-hmm. For you got Kai Lopez back last week after a couple of weeks off with an injury. I'm sure you're happy Kai is back to take on Parker this week.
Yeah, no doubt. Getting Kai back was awesome. Getting him back out there, getting some reps against Drexel, get his feet back underneath him after missing 2 weeks, was good to see. But Parker's he's a beast. I mean, if you're out there with him, you think you'd be looking at a football offensive lineman. Man, he is a big boy. He uses that power, that strength, as well as finesse at the X to be successful like he has been. So we're going to have to really do a good job there, prepare, understand how we need to attack it, and be very efficient.
Was Kai on a pitch count on Saturday that you were only going to use him X amount of times?
There wasn't a hard number for sure. It was more feeling out how the face-offs, how many we were having at a time. Probably wasn't going to take more than 2 to 3, quickly. If it was a low-scoring game and he took the first face-off and then, another one didn't happen until 10 minutes in, and then second quarter, it's probably would have been a little bit more consistent, okay with him taking those. But there was, a lot of scoring going on, and we just we wanted to monitor that. His conditioning isn't where it was, previous, when he was injured, to when he was healthy before he got injured. So just working that back into the mix as well.
How about Monmouth on the defensive end? What do they show you?
Their goalie is very strong. Cadigan's playing well. He's a big guy as well. Fills up the net. Very consistent in there. And they just, they got some experienced guys at the pole position that do a good job just playing good team defense, knowing that they got a strong goalie behind them and trying to force, those outside, low-angled type of shots.
All right, so the Tigers and the Hawks Saturday at high noon, Johnny Unitas Stadium. It will be lacrosse weather, I promise you. Temperature's supposed to be in the 70s. Bring your sunscreen. Mm-hmm. Glenn Smith and I will have that for you at noon on Saturday. Monumental Sports, Flow College, and TowsonTigers.com. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report.